Hello everyone, this is James with BucketHat Investing, and in this video I'm going to take you on a ride with me in the areas of South Austin, and we're going to do a little driving for dollars. Stay tuned. All right, hello everyone. As you see, I am working my W-2 job today. If you have a W-2 like I do, we still want to get in real estate investing, we have to juggle our time and manage our time well to be able to get everything done that we want to try to get done. So I am working in the South Austin area, and it's a very diverse area with there's a lot of country spaces. There's going to be a lot of areas that are newly built construction, and then there's going to be some subdivisions that are, that were built in the 80s. Sorry for blinding anyone. I'm trying to find a good spot. That's okay, I guess. All right. So anyway, we'll drive around, maybe look at some newer areas, some newer subdivisions, and then also maybe try to find some cash deals with some high equity. Because, if you're wholesaling, you need to look and see what would be the best course of action with your property, right? You don't want to get something, if you're wholesaling, you don't want to get something under contract that you're not able to get rid of because you don't have the right cash buyers. So you need to know what your cash buyers are buying. If you're looking at properties for yourself, kind of like what I am, well, then you just have to know what your criteria are keeping in mind what your exit strategy is. All right, well, let's get on the road, check and see what we can find. All right, here we go. We are in a newer neighborhood. I think most of the houses here were built in 2021, and it looks like there's still some construction going on. Some new roads are being put in, so the builders are still actively building in this neighborhood. Now, what that means for an investor is the potential that the houses here that are selling, they are also competing with the builders, right? So the houses that were built in 2021, that was towards right when the market was increasing. Obviously, if they're buying the houses at the top of the market, they're going to be underwater, right? That means their mortgages are going to be more expensive, or it's going to be worth more, or it's going to be a higher price than the actual value of the home. And whenever they're having to compete with the builders are going to be able to offer more incentives, thereby making it more competitive. But obviously, the builders know that the builders obviously are aware of the interest rates, so they're doing point buy downs, where they're offering a little bit more at closing to be able to buy points down, plus they're offering other incentives. So it's going to be very hard for a homestead seller to sell their house. It's a used house. There's going to be a little bit of wear and tear. Shouldn't be much, but they're not going to be able to compete as well as a builder. So anyway, I found one house that I want to look at, and obviously I'm just going to do a drive-by. On Zillow, it shows the house is listed at $395,000. I haven't checked with the builder the builder's site to see if that's a comparable price or not. But what makes this attractive is that this house it's only been listed for about 40 days, which is not really long. But what's really got my attention is that it's listed for rent and it's listed for sale. And they've had a $5,000 decrease in the price during this time. And it looks like it was also, let me see, let me scroll down on the Zillow site because I want to check the history to see if this had fallen off the market and then if it's been relisted. because that'll show it's another prime property to look at. Let's see. It was. Okay, so it was actually listed for sale back in September and October of 2022, and they relisted it. This is, let's see. Wow. Okay, so this property was listed back in a year ago, back in July of 2022 for $459,000, and it's now $395,000. So over the course of a year, it's already down $65,000 from when they first listed it. Now it doesn't say. It would be nice to see how much they bought it for, but of course I'm just looking on Zillow. I'd have to look and see. I'd have to get into more of the county data and everything. Let me see when the house was built. It was built in 2021, and they turned around and they try to sell it last July. All right, so let's do a quick drive-by. It'd be nice if it was vacant, and then I could just pull up into the driveway, but I can't tell if it's been, just from the pictures, it looks like it might be vacant. So we'll see how it goes. All right, hold on. So let me see here. So one of the things I'm going to do here is just kind of give you an overlook of the subdivision here. Let me see if I can turn my camera around. So as you see, most of these houses have the hardy board exteriors. None of these homes have brick facing, which it's, good or bad, whatever you think of. But what this tells me is that this area would be good for wraps. This area would be really good for doing wraparound owner financing, or it would even be good potentially as the rental market. It's going to be really hard, but with the interest rates being so low on this mortgage, it's possible that it would even cash flow as a rental. But of course, you've got to know, if you're wholesaling, you really need to know what your buyers are looking for. That's going to be key, because you don't want to, if someone's just looking for short-term rentals, or if they're only looking for mid-term rentals, it's probably not going to work. The area of Austin that we're in, there's not really much with, it's up and coming, but it's not going to be close to any major industries. Tesla is probably going to be the largest thing that it's going to be close to, but there we go again. It's going to be better for someone acquiring the property to be able to own or finance it. All right, so I'm going to stop the video here, and we'll pick it up when we get to the property. Okay, so here's the house. There's no sign in front of it, and sometimes Zillow does get it wrong. It's not uncommon to see that. It's kind of a smaller house. Looks like it's 1,500 square feet. It's not too bad. It is on a corner lot. So that's good. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to cross-reference it with some of the other online real estate listings, just to make sure that it is a valid, that it is an active listing. Sometimes with these online places like Redfin, Zillow, and whatever else, it's going to have some inactive, or I'm sorry, some listings that aren't very active or are accurate. I'm sorry. Anyway, so I'm going to pull over, find a place to pull over, and we're going to look and see. You can go to the county appraisal district. That will give you a little information on as far as the owner. If the owner has another address, it could either mean one of two things, right? When you're looking at the appraisal district, it would either mean that it's a landlord trying to sell the property, or it was the original homestead buyer that got desperate and had to move. Now they're maintaining a dual residence, which means they don't need their debt to income to be able to, qualify for a new mortgage, which is another benefit of pitching subject to the owner. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and cut off the video here, or I'm going to pause it, and then I'll pick it back up and we'll do the research and see, one, if the house is still for sale, and then number two, check and see who the owner is and what her next step is. Okay, so this is what I found. So typically whenever I'm doing research on a property, I typically break it down into, one, I confirm that the property is for sale or for rent, just to make sure. Step number two, I will go to a online property scraper like PropWire, PropStream, Batch Lead, something like that. I use PropWire because it's free. The third step, I'll check the appraisal district. And then if there's any discrepancy, because sometimes the data can be wrong from PropWire, I'll actually go to the county, I think it's the county clerk's website, and search for online property records so I can confirm the deed of trust, the warranty deeds. I can check and see if there's any liens against the property, that type thing. So again, step one, I confirm the listing. Step two, I do a search on PropWire, and that's to get existing mortgages. And then number three, I kind of confirm ownership with the appraisal district. And then number four, I will confirm that mortgage data with the county clerk's office. So this particular property, I did confirm that it is for rent and it's for sale, which it seems like the owner's motivated. Whenever I checked it with PropWire, I learned that the property owner is actually the real estate agent. And then whenever I checked the appraisal district, I saw that that the owner shows that he lives there. So I don't know if this was an investment property or if this was an actual an investment property, or if he actually lives there. Anyway, what I did see is that there is a loan for $175,000, and I confirmed that with county records. And the property is listed at $395,000. So it's about a $200,000, little over $200,000 in equity. Now, that's not going to be a sub 2, it's going to be a hybrid if you can get them talked into owner financing and taking over that property. Of course, since this video was only for informational purpose, and learning how to do driving for dollars, I'm not actually looking at getting into this property. I'm not investing in the Austin market. If you've seen any of my other videos, I'm only investing in the San Antonio market. So, but the idea is the same. It doesn't matter what market you're in. This would be, these would be the steps I take. All right. So that was a newer property. Now next, let's drive around a little bit more and see if we can find something that would be suitable for a cash deal. All right, so here we are in another neighborhood. This is a neighborhood that has a lot of older homes that were built anywhere between the 60s to probably even 80s. Larger lots, as you can see. But typically these are, nicer homes. All right, so typically whenever I'm looking for cash deals, I like looking for properties that have some maintenance that needs done, or some deferred maintenance rather. Maybe some, well, I mean, that looks good there, that hot water heater setting out. Looks like there's a trailer sitting out there as well. That might be, so that property there might be something to look at. I got the address. I'll pull over up here and do a quick search. It might be just a rental property. But sometimes, obviously, someone just had to replace the hot water heater. So that could be something where, if it's a newer landlord, they may be tired of doing stuff like that. But so we'll go through those same processes. I'll look and see what the buy and sell history is like on Zillow. See if it's been sold in the last few years or rented out in the last few years. Next step, I'll look at PropWire to see what kind of information I can gather from there. Next step is look at the appraisal district, and I'll decide. And then, of course, if I have any other questions about the property or liens on the property, I'll do one more search with the county clerk records. And then lastly, if it's a property to look at, we can skip trace the owner and see if we can make contact with them. All right, those are the steps, and I'll let you know what I find out. All right, this one here looks pretty good. Look at the rain gutters. Definitely some deferred maintenance there. All right, so we have a couple of properties on the list there to do a little research on. I like the looks of that last one. Obviously, rain gutters aren't an expense that renters are going to take care of. I would think most landlords would take care of it, especially. It's not that huge of an expense. It's just a headache. So anyway, I'll do some research and let you know. All right, so I was able to do a little research on those two properties, and the house that has the hot water heater out in front of it, from looking at the records, that house was paid off, and so it's 100% equity. The owner also has a construction business, so it may be that hot water heater was from a job site, not necessarily from that house, but who knows, right? And then the other house was also, no, let me think. Let me look and see. So it looks like he did pay it off, but he went back and got another lien against it. And I got this information from the county records, the public record data, from the actual county clerk. It shows that there is another lien on it, but a mortgage on it that's really low. Like these houses here, both houses should appraise between $400,000 to $500,000, and that house with the gutters sagging, it was I think it had like a $75,000 to $100,000 loan against it. So either way, I think both of those houses would be really good cash deals if you were looking for, or if you had cash buyers and looking for a cash deal. So what I would do, the next step, I'd get the names of both places, of the owners of both properties. Then I would just skip trace them using truepeoplesearch.com. It's a free people search database, and it's pretty accurate, I think. I've used it many times whenever I've just looked for skip tracing, a couple of different people. But anyway, be sure and comment down below. Tell me what you think. Hopefully this added some value to your search in driving for dollars. All right, y'all take care.